What fictional character death hit you the hardest? Bubba was gonna be a shrimp boat captain. But instead he died right there by that river in Vietnam. Hey Bubba. Hey Forrest. Littlefoot's mom in The Land Before Time. It kept me up at night as a kid thinking about how my parents would die someday. I still cannot watch that scene without crying. I get emotional just thinking about it. Mother please get up. Edit. Love you guys. Thanks for crying with me. Oh yeah. It was sad when I was a kid. But then the first time I watched it as an adult with my daughter? Brutal. I cried. Then of course she did that kid thing where they latch onto a new favorite movie and watch it over and over. Rip my emotions. I'm tired. Boss. Tired of being on the road. Lonely as a sparrow in the rain. I'm tired of never having a buddy to be with. To tell me where he's going to. Coming from or why. Mostly. I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world every day. There's too much of it. It's like pieces of glass in my head. All the time. Can you understand? I scrolled pretty far and didn't see this one listed. Poor John Coffey. Watching him crying over the 2 dead children and the stream river is one of the most haunting scenes in my movie memories, especially when your perspective changes from guilty to innocent. Boromir. I would have followed you. My brother. My captain. My king. When you hear the horn. Because he realizes he can't hold off the Uruks alone. Fucking onions right there. Brendan Fraser in Scrubs. Where do you think we are? The dog from Futurama. Thomas, Macaulay Culkin, in the movie My Girl. When she broke down at his funeral because he couldn't see without his glasses. This was the first time the movie made me cry. 30 years later. I still start sobbing uncontrollably when Vader enters the room where the funeral is held. Technically, you don't experience his death during the show. Ira grieving Lou 10 gets me every time. Though. And it makes me very sad. The Golden Bridge to Terabithia. It's sadder when I learned that it's inspired by the author's son having a best friend who died from being struck by lightning at the age of 8. Well. This is a very dangerous post to be scrolling through. The Iron Giant. I go. You stay. No following. Mus Hughes from Fullmetal Alchemist. How he died followed almost immediately by his funeral scene definitely aggravates my allergies. Came here to say this but figured it had already been said. Where are they taking Daddy slaughtered my heart enough before I had kids. Tadashi in Big Hero 6. My older brother has been a big positive influence on me and that death always makes me imagine a world without him. Stoink the Vast from How to Train Your Dragon 2. 7 years later. I am still not over his death. It absolutely wrecked me that he was reunited with his wife after 20 years of thinking she was dead only for him to die shortly after. Andrea's death in Breaking Bad and the fact that they made Jesse watch Helpless. I posted a Breaking Bad answer as well. But I said Hank and Gomi. I'm sort of second guessing my answer now as I forgot about that scene. Jesus, that was fucked up. I remember my first watch through and was just blown away at just how incredibly heart-wrenching fiction can be. Vince Gilligan is an insanely talented individual. Charlotte. In the original version of Charlotte's Web, nobody, of the hundreds of people that had visited the fair, knew that a gray spider had played the most important part of all. No one was with her when she died. The freaking mouse from Flowers for Algernon. When I was little, I remembered looking at the movie. Then when I was older, I decided to read the book. Imagine my confusion when I rented Flowers in the Attic. Edit, grammar. The Girl from Bridge to Terabithia. Bridge to Terabithia is probably the first tragedy genre item that many kids read. And it really sneaks that in after the first 3/4 of the book being about imagination and growth, then bam dead kid. Traumatizing 100%. Brooks. Shawshank Redemption. Arthur Morgan and John Marston did it for me. Red Dead Redemption 1 plus 2 are probably the only games that have had me really into the story like a film or book does. And I really grew to like them Arthur more than John really, but seeing that made me very sad. I didn't even wanna play RDR2 after Arthur died BC. I thought that was it. Finished. Only when I learned you can play as John in New Austin I came back. Starting my second playthrough now. From the bottom of my heart. Fuck Mika. Edit. Thanks for the award. Partner. My first ever. And it's gratifying to see all the love for Arthur. May we all stand unshaken amidst a crashing world. Wolverine, said Bud, relieved face with sweat. As a kid who grew up with superhero films, Logan was a tearjerker for me. David Tennant as the 10th Doctor Who. I don't want to go. I know technically it's a regeneration and not a death, but it killed me. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. Before he died he said something in the lines of, "He was your father. But he wasn't your daddy." I almost broke tears in the theater. It's not even his death that gets me. It's the funeral. Father and Son by Cat Stevens isn't just an apt title. It's a perfect song for it. And then when all the Ravagers turn up and start the fireworks and Kraglin just jumps for joy and screams. And Groot being cute and just everything about that scene. I only have to hear the very first bar of music to that song and I get chills. Sirius Black. Edit. It's really cool to see how this character really connected with so many people. Have a great day y'all. Bruh. Hands down. Mufasa. Scar, you dirty sob. I was 6 and still haven't gotten over it. Right, I'm 39 and that gets me every fucking time that and Bruce Willis saying goodbye to Liv Tyler in Armageddon. Sarah Lynn. It was too much, man. It's awful when it happens. Then fast forward a few seasons later and you find out it's even worse because Bojack waited. Maybe she didn't have to die. But he was still more concerned about saving himself. And nobody noticed or cared about the discrepancies in his story because everybody assumed it was bound to happen. She was just another washed up celebrity whose death was inevitable. That show really knew how to twist the knife. Blackadder in Blackadder Goes Forth. Sir. I'm scared, sir. It's at that point that you know something's wrong. George would never say something that serious. Bob. Stranger Things. His death was awful. Bob Newby. Superhero. I was sad to see him go, but honestly I think he had a perfect story. He needed to die or else they would do something stupid with his character. He was the best character and his death solidified his greatness. While being a goof. He is so kind and understanding and ends up being super helpful. I was overjoyed when I saw Sean Astin was in Stranger Things. Wash in Firefly Serenity. Like a leaf in the wind. Edit. Y'all are making me cry again.